Hi, I am Tammie McClafferty.
And I'm Kristin McLaughlin. We are your co-hosts. Welcome to the Misfits Podcast, a show designed for Christian working women of all ages to bring their messy lives to the couch with a cup of coffee.
And a margarita.
Or a margarita.
Sometimes you need both.
Sometimes it is a margarita and coffee. We could make a drink.
A coffee margarita.
Like a coffee rita.
Espresso martini.
Yeah.
We can do a
Coffee rita. Okay. So
New
anyway,
merch.
we're going to laugh and learn together.
Oh.
It's you.
At the end?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
yeah,
My
you're
turn.
supposed to
Okay. We are... We're
don't
going to do the cup of joe at the end. That's right. Okay.
Yes.
So we are on a legend session, which is super exciting. This is our fourth legend. So we've had 4 legends.
Right.
But this is our first legend that you don't know. So we've known all of the legends together.
I feel like I know her now.
After this many takes.
Prep. I feel like we don't know each other, but okay.
Take 407, and now they're best friends.
We started and it was light outside.
So we have a legend today, which is super fun. We are also on our 4th topic. We've done hospitality, we've done management, we've done, why am I blanking? And then this is on calling, and we've been talking about calling. And so we were talking about Esther. I know why I'm
Sorry, I'm
blanking.
stuck on why the blanking.
I can't remember. Anyways, it was so powerful that we can't
So
even
good.
recall right now.
Yes.
But we are on calling. That's what we know. And we talked about Esther.
Oh my gosh.
And so calling, I think I am extremely passionate about because that's one of our core values. It's our first core value, which is clarifying your role. And I think our board has talked about a lot. Like, why is that one of our core values? Because if we're dealing with, executive levels and C-suiters, they should already know their calling.
Right.
And I always push back that my calling has changed my entire life. And it is just an ebb and flow. And it is just very much of like, genuinely what I felt called to do when I was 22 and newly married is absolutely different than what I feel called to do now.
Thank goodness.
And in between, that's right.
I mean, you had Nookie then.
We're still having Nookie now. That hasn't changed.
There was more Nookie then.
There was more Nookie then, that's for sure.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's great. No, I was called then. I was driving a truck and delivering groceries before Uber and all of that.
Right.
Like when I think back to when we
Cutting
first got
edge.
married, we had a guy in our church. I know, it's crazy. It was called Hours to You, Hours, like you're getting back hours, so we're going to do the shopping for you. So I got my CDL driving
Oh, I
license.
knew you had that, yeah.
And I would go shop for people. I mean, this was way before Shipped and all the stuff that we have now. I would shop for people. I'd drive in the refrigerated truck and they'd have a refrigerator in their garage and I'd put their food in it and all the food had a tag on it. And when you used the product, you'd tear the tag off and put it in a basket and I would come around and collect it all and go shop for you again. I was called to do that at the time. Thank the Lord, I'm no longer called to do that.
You should have started a business.
I should have. I'd have
Shipped.
You would be
rich.
I know. I'm rich. So
Missed opportunity.
callings have changed, clearly.
Maybe you should have stuck to your calling.
I should
Maybe this debunks our whole theory that calling should not change.
The Lord's like whammying me now. If you'd have just stuck with your original calling, you'd be a bazillionaire.
Hey,
You'd own a skyscraper in Birmingham for Shipped. Oh, that's terrible. But my calling has since changed. And
which
so,
we think is a good thing.
We do.
In all seriousness.
We do.
We think as women our calling ebbs and flows.
Sure.
And so I don't think you should have stuck with it.
Thanks. I'm glad I have your approval.
Yeah, no problem.
For switching.
No problem.
But I do think calling is also, and you had mentioned this earlier, it's hour by hour sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Very much so. Like it's I have a grandma hat now, which we talked about. I have, which is the best hat I have. And I have a mom hat and a wife hat and, all those pieces, a boss hat. So I think it just depends. Like today I've been all of those things. Probably not the wife one very much. Sorry. I haven't gotten home yet. But.
Just give some nookie, you'll be
Right.
fine. Fine, fixes everything.
Nobody knows.
By this time, we understand
Yeah,
what fixes
that's right.
everything.
That's right.
So
This
it doesn't
is
take
true.
much.
Wisdom shared.
It
Yes,
doesn't take
yes.
much. Have a bad day. Here's Nookie. You're all
You're good.
So it's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh boy.
Oh goodness.
Okay. But yes,
Calling. Back to
can
calling.
change hour by hour.
Well, and you were saying earlier, which I thought was really good too, about the difference between men and women. Maybe you mentioned it when we were talking about it earlier, that I think with women, we do switch hour by hour. And what I do at work is different than what I do when I go home. And I don't necessarily see my husband ebbing and flowing through a calling like that. Like who he is at work kind of is who he is at home. Not for you?
No, I think, like we always say that men are a waffle box.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
women are
Spaghetti.
I think that when
It's
they're
the same. Yeah.
like it's all in, like all of their box is their
Calling.
Right.
Right.
Well, and each of their roles is very, very similar, right?
Yeah.
They're a provider. They're sort of, straight line. Everything is sort of straight line, whether they decide to change it and go on a mission, change from
Right.
corporate to a mission field kind of thing. It changes. But their role almost always is the same, where we go from, I'm the decision maker, I'm the boss, everybody's listening to me, to I'm going to go home now and, like you said, you have to take a deep breath in the car and go, okay, I'm not the only decision maker. I'm not the boss. Everybody's not going to fall in line behind me. And I think they don't do that as much.
I remember when Sean said to me one time, I came in from work, I was teaching or whatever, it was back in the day. And I walked into the house and was just in my teacher mode, because I was in it all day and and I remember him looking at me saying, I am not one of your third graders. And it was like, ooh, of course you're not, but we have to switch those roles.
Yeah.
And I think
I've gotten, I don't work for you.
Right. I didn't work
for my
you.
children.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think that's when you're navigating multiple callings at the same time, because in all of this, I'm called to be the mother to my children the way that God's called me at this time, and to be the wife to my husband, and to be the boss, and to be all the stuff.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we look at calling as just the vocation piece,
right?
Which we've talked about. But
I think when you look at Esther, even her calling changed, right? She got called to be a queen, right? But then, as she wove her way through that certainly changed, and the demands, if you will, on her role and what was coming for her changed.
And she changed. Who she was with Mordecai, even while she was queen. When she was talking to Mordecai, she was one person.
Yeah.
But then when she would go into the king, she was a different persona, a different person.
Right.
She had to navigate that.
Right.
So I think we see that. But so that's a lot of, I think, what we've been talking about for calling. And hopefully we've, been able to offer tidbits of information and things that we can help you along the way. But today is a special day because we have one of my mat carriers. And so you've heard us talk a lot about mat carriers, and all credit to Pastor Joby. That's the first time that I kind of heard somebody talk about your 4 mat carriers. And I remember when he talked about it, hesitating and thinking, like, who are my mat carriers? And really having to process that. And so we've talked about it a lot. And our legend today, Sandy, is definitely one of my mat carriers and has been since college. So we were, I don't want to say roommates. We were like next door to each other. So I was in one room, she was in the room. Hallmates. Yeah, but really next door. So next door neighbors in college. And we went to Cedarville University, which is an amazing Christian college where I tell people all the time, it is really where my faith just exploded. And I think up until I went to Cedarville, I believed what I believed because my parents believed it. And so they believed it, I believed it, and that's what we did. And then I showed up on campus at Cedarville, and it was like, I found people that loved Jesus and were cool. And up to that point, I really hadn't found any cool Christians.
Right.
And so all of a sudden I walk on this campus and I was like, these are really cool people and they love Jesus.
That's great.
And then I got to really my faith became my own at Cedarville. And Sandy was part of that journey with me. And so we had
Jesus person.
And so you really were. It was fun. We have.
Did you guys get cool together, or she was cool before you and helped you be cool?
She was way cool before me. Yeah, I was not cool.
Okay.
I did not show up cool.
So funny.
I've had to work at this. It's been
It's
a process. What you see here is
Yeah.
definitely a process.
I mean, everyone's so jealous to be like you and cool like
Oh
you.
my gosh. But we
I love
have
that.
some amazing, amazing memories. And as we were getting ready to start today, she was trying to pull up some pictures of us from college. So we're going to put them in the comments below. But we dressed up one year as the 4 aces. And so 4 of us went as aces. And as full-on college students, we went trick-or-treating. And there's some real seniors. I mean, we were adults. I mean, we should not have been trick-or-treating.
But we should
We loved it.
elementary
Yeah, cards.
what was that projector called that we had to
The overhead projector. Right? Just an overhead projector back in the day.
okay,
As cool as we were.
yeah.
So you made the cards.
We
oh,
did.
we did.
Ah,
On like a
Yeah, like a poster board.
Overhead
poster board,
projector.
Yeah, and put it on the wall. Spent hours. We should have been studying.
Yes,
But we were coloring.
we were. It was great.
That
So
is funny.
lots of amazing memories. And I
Yeah.
think the cool part about Sandy and I is that we stayed in touch a little bit after college. I mean, hit or miss.
Mhm.
But it wasn't until really a reunion for college that I
Yeah.
think we really reconnected.
Yeah.
We had a reunion at college and 4 of us went and we thought, oh, we'll just kind of grab an apartment, a
Yeah.
hotel and stay together for a reunion. And it was in that moment that we said, we can't let it go this long. Like we
Oh,
need to be doing a
yeah.
girls trip every year and all this stuff. And we have been consistent with it.
And when? How old were you? Like when was that? Like
we were 5. How old were you? She
I would
said
say
it in a
10
way.
years.
Yeah.
It was,
oh, sis. Okay.
it was a milestone reunion.
Milestone reunion.
Don't say how long ago. What reunion? I don't
We had 10
remember.
or 15 years. But like
Okay.
we had stayed in like
Yeah, like
Christmas card
Mhm.
when I was down here. You
Right.
It wasn't what it is.
Yeah.
You weren't my mat carrier
No,
until then.
no.
yeah.
We were
That's
definitely.
cool.
I mean, yeah.
But it seems. I mean, I think sometimes we think our mat carriers have been with us forever, and it's cool that you guys just like had a relationship and then now have a new relationship. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like a change. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it
Yeah.
is. It is. And so now our husbands are friends, our kids are friends.
Yeah.
We do a girls trip every year, at least one, if not more.
2 or 3
And now we're as the kids get older and we have a little bit more
Yeah,
money, we do
yeah.
a little bit more. But we've done some huge, like we've done New Orleans
If you
and we've
kept
done
shipped, you
Utah.
would have been.
What'd you say?
She said if I'd had shipped and stayed in my
Yeah,
calling,
you got
we'd
your
be
own
doing
ship.
great ones. I'd be paying for everything.
Yeah.
Be in Bora Bora. So
On your yacht.
stick with my calling.
We haven't gone international.
We have not gone
yet.
international together.
Yeah.
So
Okay, sorry. We're
but
never going to get to what's
we are not,
important.
but we are. Sandy is one of my mat carriers, and so not only do we get to do girls trips, but there's been a very high level accountability as
Mhm.
far as even I would say more so Sandy and I spiritually, just not just a hey, how are you, but like no, for real, when
Yeah.
the world is falling apart,
Right.
she's the call. You know, when the kids and the marriage and the stuff, big
Yeah.
decisions, life decisions, work decisions. I mean, she's
Yeah.
the call that I make. And so we did talk about earlier, she's a crier, which is good, kind of, because I'm not a crier. And so, you know,
Yeah.
I get to yell a little bit more. She'll cry a little bit more. But she is definitely one of my mat carriers and a true legend, and somebody that when we talked about calling, I thought she
Yeah.
has a great story.
You said
about her
immediately,
calling.
like
Yes.
we have to. Sandy has to be
Be
calling.
the one. So, Sandy, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a legend. Thank you for being my mat carrier. And tell us about you. Who are you? Tell us your story.
Well, as far as calling was concerned, I am a late bloomer. I like to say that because when we graduated from college, I call her Tink.
I know.
She's
Yeah.
to me.
Uh-huh.
So I have to.
Yeah,
transition.
Tink's fine.
Tammy said,
Yeah.
no. Tammy got married in
Yeah.
August, and I moved to North Carolina to start my teaching career. So I watched all of my hallmates, all of my friends, everybody get married, start their families, and I did not meet my husband until 10 years later.
Mhm.
So I had it longer than that, but I had a 15-year career where I taught music and theater, went back and got my master's degree, and I was very intense.
I love
Um,
that.
I fell in love with the theater community and with the music community, and it was my life because I did not have anything else to distract me from
Right.
it. So I got to stay at school until, I hours upon hours upon hours pouring into my students, getting to go to their events, going, just that whole world. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. There was an itch to do something more after the 15 years that I spent in that. I did 2 years in North Carolina, then moved back up to Pittsburgh and taught the other 13 there. And it was during that time that my husband and I, the last year of my teaching career, I married him. We dated 2 years. He is from our hometown. And that itch of, okay, I've done this season. We've talked about, I call them seasons.
Right.
I had graduated 15 generations of kids or 15 classes of kids, and they were going on to do these marvelous things. I have had kids open for big name people. I've had lots of invitations to go to New York City and watch their shows that they're producing at NYU. And I got to do all these things. And I kept looking at my mother and would say, like,
when's it my turn?
I want to do some of that. And simultaneously, I got engaged and married, and I thought that was my next season. I had 1 year of marriage where the two of us were blissfully happy. He was working at his place, I was working in my place, and then my father got cancer. And for that year, our first year celebration to second year celebration was my dad being sick. So that season of change that I thought I was having didn't happen, but very grateful that I got to take care of my dad.
Right.
And assist my mom was taking care of him 100%. But in that year, I thought, okay, at the end of this year, it'll be my calling, and I'll get to pivot. And right after my father died, my mother had open heart surgery 6 weeks later, unbeknownst to us.
Right.
And at that point, right before my dad had died, he said to me, as I
We've got the kids.
My dad had said, at that point, I'm 32 years old. And you have
I've got kids and a whole house.
Right. And all of my friends have these kids, and here I am. And I was thinking, I don't know if I want kids, because my dad's sick. I had several cousins who also had cancer, and I was just not sure. I was on the fence of what I was going to decide to do. And my dad said to me, "You were my biggest success."
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
I remember him being, he died a few months later, and I remember thinking, gosh, I was his biggest success. Like, I wonder if we should have kids. And we literally, when my mom got released from her heart surgery, she lived with us after her heart surgery. We decided, okay, let's start a family. And 9 months later, we have a Enzo, and we didn't know anything was wrong until I delivered him, and he had multiple clots at birth. And so it was kind of 1 year of heartache. My dad died, my mom had heart surgery, and I had this son who...
Were you teaching still?
Was.
Right? You were teaching through all that. So you had not left school
No,
yet.
I had not left school, but I planned...
Right, we tried to plan,
I planned it to have him right at the end of the semester. So I literally thought...
So you had Nookie at the right time. You cooked the Nookie appropriately. And if you don't know what we're talking about, so you have to go back and listen to our episodes so you can follow with the
early on episodes.
That's right.
So, I know, for some people, they're just like, you really planned that? I was like, yes, teachers need to plan.
Teachers do that.
It was like June, July, August. And
Right.
I was going back in September. And when I had him, I didn't even get to bring him home for 2 weeks.
Wow.
He was a NICU baby, and we didn't even know what was wrong at that point. So I took a sabbatical in order to be able to say, okay, so I thought it was just going to be normal every day, and it wasn't.
Right.
And so it went another, I took a year off, and he was not quite okay, but kind of returned. but it was that itch of, am I
Going back to
Right.
just this.
to
Yeah.
this? Like, I now have this
Right.
baby. And
Right.
can I do that life that I was doing before I had this baby? And it changed my life. And my husband was like, well, I can't stay. He was more fitted to stay home.
Yeah.
I am not a very good stay-at-home person. And he was like, I'm not staying home with our newborn. So I was like, well, what can we do? And so we had wanted to change.
Let me
So,
pause for a
yeah.
second. I don't know if I know we've talked about a lot. When you had either of the boys,
Hmm.
did you have an itch to stay at home?
No.
So did you ever take time at home, or did you stay working the whole time?
I didn't work for about 3 months in between when I left SunTrust and when we started Legacy. And we talked about like how I over volunteered.
Oh, right. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
I mean, I basically put myself
you
in
were
a-
working more.
Right. I
Just
was,
as a volunteer.
chaired 2 boards, and Rodney was like, "What are we doing
Right.
here? Why don't you go get a job?
Right. You might as well get paid for
Like,
what
we're
you're doing.
paying a babysitter. Why don't we go get a job?"
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Just
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
how we
Yeah.
all kind of get to that when the kids
Right.
come. It does. There's a
Yeah.
change.
I just
There
think
is.
like you, like I was a better mom being able to go to work and then pay to have my house cleaned and paid, because I would have been that mom that was running my kid all over the place. Like, we're going to the dry cleaners and then we're going to the grocery store, and so I let somebody else do all of that. And then when I was a mom, I just got to be a mom, right? So
And I think I would have been that mom, but I was afraid to stick him into
Yeah.
somewhere because I didn't want to be back in the NICU.
yes,
So tell me his conditions.
He was fine. I mean, like he has a blood clotting disorder, so he lost a kidney, and he's a perfectly fine child, son, grown. He's like,
Yeah,
oh,
he's gonna be an adult,
sorry,
right.
But he was fine. But we always say that was our dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
Because when they assured me that it could not happen a second time. And anytime that you hear that, you just brace in my world, because I got pregnant again. And at 36 weeks, the normal ultrasound, everything had been perfect. And they sent me, I knew something was wrong, and they sent me to a secondary hospital to do an MRI. And that son had a stroke in utero.
Oh my goodness.
So he was my dress rehearsal. And so my first son, because after the first year of giving him shots every day, he was the second one, not so much. And so when we were told that we would have surgery as soon as I delivered him, which I actually got to have him for 2 months before having that surgery. But all that to say, at that point, I have 2 kids, one who's fine, the other one who needed significant therapy. And I did not want to pass that off to somebody else. I felt like it was my responsibility. Like, even though I'm not a very good stay-at-home mother at all, I was just like, can't give that to somebody else. I wanted.
So would you say you felt called to do that, or would you look at that and say it was an obligation? And that's a bad word because that feels negative.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it negatively, but did you come to a place where you thought, no, I'm called to take care of these boys?
Yeah.
So it went from work. Did the taking care of the boys scratch the itch?
No.
No.
Heavens, no.
Okay.
No.
So
No.
what?
So that's when I started. I started 2 or 3 online businesses, because I thought, okay, if I could have the flexibility, and that's right when the online world was happening and everything. So I thought, I can do this because I have these kids here. I have therapy. I mean, we probably had 7 hours of therapy per week, and then do a 3-year-old and a newborn while you're doing all that. It just was a lot. And so no, I thought, okay, I'll just start a business.
So what did you start?
So the first one I started was tea party takeout, which was, I thought you could have tea parties anywhere because I loved having people into my house for tea.
She could have been
Hospitality. I was going to say that. Look at hospitality. We're just reverting back.
And I would host parties, and like the theater side of me was very used to doing a production and then breaking it down and doing the next production. So I was like, oh, okay, I can do this, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like, people would hire me to do it, but I couldn't figure out, like, what do I do with my children? Do I take them with me? Do I have, so I pay a person here and there, but it got it got a lot.
Mm.
So I put that one away, and then
So online business too.
online business too was got a glitter. I thought I'll sell makeup that's glittery, and it was like before the Amazon affiliate stuff. It was like, so I worked on that really hard for a long time, and it was going. But I think I missed the era of being able to, it's like when you know you're 50, when you're like, I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I was like, how are people doing this? Because I'm exhausted. I'm
Yeah.
trying to work at 12 o'clock at night till
Right.
whatever, when they're
Oh my
asleep
gosh,
or whatever.
yeah.
And I was like, so that one didn't work very well.
Online business 3.
Online business 3. Oh, and then what I also realized is that I'm not a very good online person because I like people.
Hmm.
And you don't get
Yes.
people when you are.
Right.
It's an introverted world.
Interesting. Yes.
If you're an introvert,
I
if
should
you're
go
an extrovert,
online.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
I should be online.
I'm just saying, I am not. And I realized, so in our business, we were flipping homes. And so I thought, well, I'll teach people how to do DIY things, because I didn't realize that people didn't do DIY. I thought everybody painted stuff. And so when a couple of my friends were like, you need to do this. And so I did Paint Tool Girl. That was my 3rd online business.
And your 4th?
And my 4th was Blue Skies Production.
So powerful and impactful. She can't remember the name.
I started doing
Wedding
event
event planning,
Yeah,
right?
like everybody would hire me to do event stuff, and I was like, I might as well make this a business too. And so I would go out and
Did any of those scratch the calling itch?
when they were working, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But when they weren't working, they felt like glorified hobbies.
Hmm.
And so I was like, I'm spending more time away from my kids
Right.
without the paycheck that I knew I could make if I were to slip back into a job at that point. So it was kind of like,
It was like my over volunteering.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're just sort of like
Doing a lot of
doing
stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And why am I in the library? Like categorizing books? Like I really feel like I could do something else.
When they
Yeah.
asked me to put
Not to insult anyone, but
no,
you know.
but when they asked me to join the Rotary Club and I had to pay for babysitting,
Right. Yeah. To go. That's what I was doing. Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah,
so
Feeding the purpose.
something is wrong here. So
Yeah.
no, that itch was not scratched. 100%.
And so
Yeah.
just as we're stepping through too, I'm going to fast forward a little bit
Yeah.
from my perspective as being a mat carrier for her and watching her go through these and
Yeah.
really seeing
So you guys had back reconnected.
by this point.
By
Here's most of
okay.
them. I missed glitter. I
You
missed
did-
glitter girl. I was there for Pink Tool
You might
Girl.
have suggested not to do the letters.
It might have been like,
I don't know.
we did the bedazzled.
Right.
Past the bedazzled. Let's try something else. Glitter and glue. No, no. So I was fascinated.
with me.
I came in with Pink Tool Girl, and really, it was a great idea. And like, I helped her edit some of the video.
Mhm.
Edit's not the word. I watched some of the videos.
Yeah.
You know,
Clearly
clearly,
we didn't edit.
editing was not. Yeah, that's why I backtracked. Editing was not.
She
what
was
she was asked to
splicing.
do.
What do you call
It was not splicing.
Slicing.
Over-
Slicing.
Over. What's it called? Overlaying.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't doing any of that. So, but I did. So I was part of the Pink Tool Girl. I was part of the Blue Skies. But even more so than that, I've watched her and her husband, Andy, her husband, has a great job, and he's great at what he does. But they've come to a point in their life where they're like, okay, we need more, and we want some flexibility, and we want Florida, and so they come visit us often. And they have been trying for 3 years, hard. I
3
mean,
years.
solid.
And it's not just in Florida anymore.
No,
We've
you're
tried
like
up there,
anywhere.
too.
But they have decided we want to start a business together. So we're going to buy a business. So they have been with brokers, and I mean, like, we're buying a business and we're going to run it. He's going to quit his job
Yeah.
and they're going to do it. And so, I mean, it's been 3 years.
We don't know if he's going to quit his job. Just
Well,
in case those
He's,
people
gonna
want
do
to.
it.
Yeah.
He's not quitting his job.
Just saying.
He's definitely not quitting his job.
I'm gonna
He
do
would
it
like the
too.
raise and the promotion at the job that he's at.
Just saying.
Like they're going to watch this. One of our 10
Yeah,
subscribers.
Gary's going to slice that out.
Take that
Overlay that.
Right.
Edit.
Right. When we go international.
Yes.
Right.
Bleep that out.
Right,
At least we
right.
didn't say the company,
That's
and so. But I've watched them.
Not
as a
Andy,
couple.
her husband Tom.
Tom Margo. That's who it is. Tom Margo, who is not an engineer, but an architect. That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but I have
Yeah.
watched them try. And
Yeah.
it's been, when I think of calling,
Mhm.
like they have both said and prayed about it, and we've prayed with them that they really believe this is what God called them to.
Mhm.
And I think that's where I kind of want to end this and land this with your perspective on what if you think God's called you to something,
Right.
but the doors don't
It's
open,
just not happening.
right?
Yeah.
And so there is this, and we talk about it all the time. Do you just keep fighting for it?
Yeah.
You know, there's the verse that says, stand firm and stand again and stand. And there's like this, like you just keep standing and you keep fighting. But then there's also the Lord, if it's not your will.
Right.
And so I think so many times we wrestle with that. Am I doing what you've called me to do and I just need to keep pressing on? Or is it time for a different?
And in so many ways you can't do that
You-
without Matt carriers
Right.
because
Right.
you know, I can rationalize both ways.
Right.
You know, most of
Yeah.
the time
Yeah.
when we're making a business decision or a
Mhm.
joint decision like that. And I have an opinion, Rodney has an opinion. We finally land at the same place and we're like, okay, go. And then, you know, if you don't have somebody around you saying, you guys are totally off the page,
Mhm.
you know, it's
Or would you go already?
or keep going.
I mean, like
right.
it can go the
Yeah.
way.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
are making the decision. Like we still have young kids in our home,
Right.
so it's not about just the two of us making
Right.
a decision. It's them too.
Yes.
Which I finally looked at and I said, I'm not sure I can do this. You know, like
Right.
it's such a
He's not quitting his job till like
No,
definitely after
like,
the kids.
Tom Margo, the architect, is not quitting.
We are actually strategic planning for 23 years from now after he
2029.
retires. Yeah,
I can't
from
remember
his
what-
great
Yeah.
job now.
He loves his job.
Yeah, but it is a to be continued.
Yeah,
Right.
To be very honest.
But I mean, and I
because-
think that's
yeah.
been your biggest struggle that we've walked with
right.
for the last couple of years is I really think God's calling me to this
Yes.
and I want to do this. And yet, I mean, I kid you not, like she's put money down and the place burnt down.
oh my
Like
gosh.
it's
yeah.
not like just
Right,
it didn't
like,
work
it's-
out. It's
right.
like legitimately we're doing it. Here's
Here
the
we
money,
go.
and a hurricane comes and destroys
Right.
it. I mean, like, and it has
Wow.
been multiple.
But you also know,
times.
like, when God's 7 is a good number.
Seven is
Six-
a-
six
7 is
times
the number of
that.
Ooh,
completion.
7 is the number of completion.
That's
Good
true.
call.
That's true.
No,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
See, Matt carriers.
So I have to be very careful with seven.
7's got to be really good.
Seven's
Seven's
gotta
You're
gotta be
making
good.
homemade nookie. We're homemade nookie making.
That's so wrong.
oh my God, that's so bad.
That's great.
So-
That's
You
great.
can make a lot of money with
I
that.
could make a
That
my next
plan.
shift moment.
Yeah, I love
They
it.
have
you
other
know.
names for that, but yeah.
Imagine what your side.
But I
business
mean,
would be.
like, you also don't you go like, what's going to happen the next time?
Yeah.
Like when God actually does, if God gets me through all these 6 times, here comes number 7.
Yeah.
Like what's going to happen?
I'm reading
Like,
a book
how
right
cool.
now about parenting, and it's very interesting because she talked about this book isn't just about parenting, you getting your child to make those godly decisions and wisdom and following, you know, she was like, some of this is about you too, because you have a stage after this parenting
Mhm.
that you're prepping for as well. And it was really, I read it to him on the beach today because I was like, I hear you. Like we don't know the end of this. Like I love podcasts that I can go, oh, they found their calling.
Right.
And I know, and look, you know, and sometimes I turn it off irritated because I'm like,
Right.
I haven't found one yet. Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
we're in the midst of it, and it's probably the first time that it's probably the most at peace I've been in the last 3 years that I'm like, I don't,
Mhm.
and you're okay with that.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I think the sunshine and the palm trees helps.
Right.
Because in the middle of like a snowstorm in March,
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
it's
You're like,
so
what?
hard. No,
Right.
but it was nice to step away from our life.
Yeah.
To come, and it was already happening there. But like when I came down, I was like, you know what? No, we're gonna pursue. Because there was about a year period that I had to stop
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I cannot be through this up and down, up and down, up and down.
Right. Ron Roth. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like I would call, I would like, don't even ask.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anything new to tell you.
Right.
You know, or I was just in ball tears because I was like, I don't know. But there have been a couple mat carriers. You told me about Pray Gesco,
Go. Pastor Joby again.
which
I
I
gotta
was
get
like,
props.
that's amazing. And then I have another Cedarville friend who also has been kind of praying over it, and she said in essence the same thing, but you know, like sometimes you don't know, but you still
Go.
or
Yeah.
just like or not,
Right.
you know, but whatever it is, be okay with it.
Well, and I think that's what led us to this, right? I didn't mean to.
No, we're not talking over each other anymore.
No, right. Being very careful.
Comments. Never ever. Go
But
ahead.
I mean, I think that's what led us to this. It's like, okay, let's just do it.
Right.
Let's just do it and see what happens.
Because
Right.
if we'd have waited till everything was like, we had everything figured out, we would have never done it.
But
Which
that's
is
not the engineers.
Right.
So you do have to watch your.
when Tom Margot, architect, needs a little bit
And
more.
there's wisdom in that too. You know, because he knows things that I don't about our finances or about, you know, this.
Right.
I'm the dreamer. But no, I with along with that book was being very. You said it at the very beginning, being very clear about what your calling is. And admittedly, I probably feel like I've been called to two things. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, do those two coexist together? Or do I have to pursue this one right now and put this one on hold for a little bit longer and then do this one? Or is it this one and I'm supposed to go there? You know, like, and again, I don't have the answer. We are actively praying.
Well, and I think that's part of why I wanted you to speak to calling, because I know you're in the middle of walking through. I feel called to something and I can't get there.
Yep.
And I think a couple messages that we hope our listeners hear from this is, hey, God's with you in the midst of it. And you don't always have to be on a perfect trajectory, knowing where you're going and what you're doing all the time. And God's still with you, and there can still be miracles in those moments. And there is joy in those moments. When I think of my 6-word mission statement, it's enjoy today, envision tomorrow, encourage forever. And it's the enjoy today when you're in the midst of, I don't know what I'm called to do. That's hard.
That's very, very hard.
Yet very powerful. Like, I'm not where I want to be.
Right.
I know I'm called to something else and I can't quite get there yet. So I still need to enjoy today. And I think my encouragement for people who are sitting in and surprisingly, I mean, and you would know this with life work, there are way more people than we think sitting in I don't know what my calling is. Even if they're sitting as a vice president of a bank and they're sitting as the CEO of this, when you really start talking to them, right, they're like, this isn't what I'm called, right? They're doing it to collect a paycheck.
Like the whole 4 to 1 thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it goes back to that, like being 4 times happier or 4 times more joyful in the discovery process than not, right? And I think God teaches us through, no matter what it is, whether it's calling or not. And I think there are different seasons. I mean, I really struggled with, not so much when my kids went away to college, but like when they started driving, right? And it was like,
just got a license this
2 weeks
week,
ago.
right?
yeah. But I mean, all of a sudden they're gone, right? I mean, it's a different calling. And like, I struggled with that more than when they went away to college. And then, you know, when they got married, and I'm like, where do I fit now? I don't like, I still want to work. I still want to be, but like all my friends are going to see their grandkids, and, you know, and I'm like, it's been 6 months since so I think like remembering the 4 to 1 part, and that you know, still trying to have joy in the circumstances as you're going through the process in the season is what God tries to teach us.
And so many times when we finally let go and let God, which we know all this stuff, right?
Right.
When you finally say, okay, He opens up
It
an
does.
opportunity, right? I mean, it just happened today with Murray Hill and Cup of Joe, and I've been so frustrated with it. And you finally go, and it's just there. And a lady approaches and like, hey, do you want to get into our store in St. Augustine? And you're like, oh my gosh, like, so many times I clutch onto things thinking I can fix it or I can control it or I can make this decision. And I don't mean to not be open-handed with it, but we do. And then, you know.
But sometimes I think because of our personalities, it is God made us that way
Right.
too.
Right.
So we are planners and we are dreamers and we are like, okay, how are we going to get this done? And then when we just step over that line too much is when God goes, okay, stop. Right. But I think there's a big part of it that's worked for us and it's been successful because that's how God's used us. But we have a necklace that we share that says, let go and let God.
Let go and
Yeah.
let God. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Let go, let
Yeah.
God.
I like it.
So I think that's what I hope you hear. I mean,
Yeah.
as listeners, is that, president and owner of a very successful company, CEO of a very, very successful company, and we're still not figuring it out. And then you have Sandy who's like, I want to do this, and God's just not opened doors yet. And in all those places and in all those spaces, God's there.
Yeah.
And so
good.
So good. And we're going to enjoy the day.
Yeah.
We're going to enjoy the day.
Yeah.
And so we're going to bring Sandy back on number 7 when something happens and you, on your 7th endeavor, we're going to just claim it and call it. So make sure it's a good one, but we're going to claim it and call it and just.
If it's not good, you're not going to call me back?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We'll still call you back. We'll be like, epic fail.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the epic fail. 7 didn't work. We're going for 13.
Remember that story? Well,
really
7 times 7 times 7 is what we're going for.
We can make every number work somehow.
I also think, when you come back, you're still going to be a misfit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're still going to be like us, and you may think, that's going to make my life
the job I wanted.
perfect.
Right.
And it's not. You're still, it's still a misfit.
And isn't that true? You get the job or you get the house or you get the thing that you've wanted, and then a month later,
or the business,
you're like,
right? You're
that
still
sucks.
right. You're still in misfit land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's so true.
hence the podcast.
Yeah.
Hence the enjoy the day. So, well, thank you very much for coming.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate it all the way from Pittsburgh.
Sorry.
I love that we got to bring in some out of town guests, which is great. And so we appreciate that and can't wait for you to come back and share with us the final
Number
chapter. It won't
7.
be the final chapter, though. There will be many chapters.
We're
So
thinking
give us
all
the
kinds
next
of things
season.
to get tattoos. So we could have 7 in there
We
somewhere.
could have 4 to 1
equals 7.
equals 7. Not really.
People would question it.
They would. They'd be like, "What's
They'd be
that?"
like,
well,
"What
4
is
to
that?"
1
And we
is
would
the
be
number of 4 positive to 1 negative equals completion in your life. So 4 to 1 equals 7.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We
We'll
should
get you
write
there.
that down.
We'll get you
Yeah.
there. Write
Don't
that
worry,
down.
we track.
Put
Yeah.
that in the notes.
I know it's scary. It's scary.
So-
The 2 of us
I
are
love it.
scary.
Thank you for coming all the way
Thank
down
you. This
and
was great.
sharing
I
with
feel like I
us.
know you, so
know.
you can be a Matt Carrier mine too, please.
Thank you. I would be honored.
That'd be great. And thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Misfit Podcast, which was brought to you
by Cup of Job Community Cafe. This is a redemptive enterprise that is serving and employing various demographics in need that has been launched by Lifework Leadership and its CEO. It's her vision. Very important. CEO.
Very
Night you told me about it.
Oh my
Right?
gosh. How
I
we've
was
come
there.
so far.
Right. Oh, yeah. Anyway, Cup of Job uses coffee as a tool to bring and build relationships in the community. You can stop by our Murray Hill or Beaches location, or you can call our truck. We could come to you. Yeah.
And pretty
Our
soon we're
coffee
going to add St. Augustine.
And pretty soon we're going to add St. Augustine. Maybe by the time this airs, we will have St. Augustine.
Maybe it'll be there.
We may have to blip that in.
We may have to add
We're
that
going
in.
to blip stuff out and
We
blip
can
stuff
blip
in.
it in, overlap in and out.
We know what we're doing. Maybe by then we'll know what we're doing. We may have new cameras.
We may.
Okay, wait. Check us out on www.cupofjob.com or at Lifework Leadership First Goes. Seek, serve, sip. Seek Jesus, serve others. One sip at a time. Cup of Job Cafe.
And
Thank you to our sponsors.
Thank you to our sponsors. And we look forward to laughing with you in our next live episode on July 29th at Cup of Job at the beach. Thanks for watching. You got it.
Amen.
I was going to be like
Our ends.
guy-
We're so bad. We have got to